Hey YouTube, it's Robert Hall, and in today's video we're going to compare the Godox AD400 Pro versus the Profoto B10. My channel is sponsored by Adorama, which buys me the time to create these type of videos without the influence of any specific camera brand. I personally shop at Adorama for their great deals on a wide selection of products, as well as their support of those products down the road. So, if you end up interested in any of the products discussed in this video, please use the links in the description below. Before we get into this comparison, let me state that I think it's odd to compare these two lights considering their vast difference in size, and I think that the Godox AD200 is a much more logical comparison to the Profoto B10. But considering the fact that these have already been compared in depth and I didn't really agree with their findings, I wanted to compare them myself. So the most difficult thing in comparing these two lights is their dramatic difference in their head designs. It's just tough to equate these two when you've got one bare bulb and you've got another recessed light that is kind of built into its own reflector. You simply can't test them both with no modifier on it because the Profoto that has a recessed bulb is going to cast more light forward, more in a concentrated pattern. Now, when I did my first power comparison of these lights live, a lot of people had a problem with the fact that I put a Bowens mount reflector onto the Godox AD400 Pro to simulate the advantage that the Profoto B10 has. People thought that the Profoto B10 should have a reflector on it too, but here's a comparison between the Profoto B10 with no reflector, nothing on it at all, to a Godox AD400 Pro with a 7-inch Bowens mount reflector. You can see from these photos that this is actually an ideal comparison because the pattern of light is equally wide, equally specular in the center. They just line up perfectly. And while it's not what I used for my full comparison, the AD400 Pro does meter a half stop more than the Profoto B10 in this situation. Now, the comment that people had was, well, why don't you put a reflector on the Profoto B10? Well, here's why. When you put a zoom reflector on the Profoto B10, you're concentrating the light far more than the reflector on the Godox AD400 Pro with its Bowens reflector. And this is with the zoom reflector at its widest setting. That's not a good comparison either. So my next thought was possibly using a beauty dish. After all, with a beauty dish, you have a deflector plate that completely eliminates any hot spot in the center. Now, when I did that comparison, the AD400 Pro metered 90% brighter than the Profoto B10, almost one full stop. But I felt that was unfair to the Profoto B10 since a beauty dish is going to benefit from an omnidirectional bulb like on the AD400 Pro. So I didn't use that for my comparison either. Ultimately, I fell back on the indirect softbox, that is reverse mounting a light into a softbox and then having diffusion on it. So ultimately it evens them quite a bit, still gives a little bit of benefit to the recessed bulb of the Profoto B10, but I thought it represents a nice average that we could use to compare these two lights. So moving forward through the rest of this video, all of my spec comparisons are based on that metered test. Now, these results are consistent with other indirect modifiers or double diffuse softboxes and semi-close to what you would see in a beauty dish. However, using the Profoto B10 in a reflector, in a shoot-through umbrella, or a direct modifier like maybe a softbox with a single layer of diffusion is going to lead to inflated results, but you're also going to have a light quality that is more specular than the AD400 Pro. So let's get into the full comparison now. The Godox AD400 Pro metered 0.8 of a stop more powerful than the Profoto B10. Now, this is very far from the idea that's been presented in other videos that these two lights are of equal output. This also means that we need to take a closer look at all the other specs based on the output. Now, the reason I do this in my videos is because it doesn't matter what power setting you put your light at. When we're comparing two lights, we need to think about it in terms of output, because after all, you're going to choose your power setting based on the output of your light. You're not going to do it the other way around. So in terms of light output range, the Profoto B10 does have about one more full stop of power range than the Godox AD400 Pro. And this is simply because it has an extra stop below the setting. The Godox only goes down to 1/256 power, while the Profoto B10 goes down to 1/512 power. That may come in handy if you're doing some night shooting, but otherwise I don't think it's a real big benefit. Now, in terms of consistency, the Godox AD400 Pro is much more consistent as you go through the different power levels. And this is especially true at the lower levels. If you're not changing the power levels, both the Profoto B10 and the Godox AD400 Pro are extremely consistent. Both of these lights offer TTL and high-speed sync. The high-speed sync loss on both of them is roughly 2 stops. Now, I didn't just test this with the light meter, I also wanted to double check with an actual photo, so I tested the light meter result and it was consistent. The AD400 Pro in high-speed sync was roughly 2/3 of a stop brighter than the Profoto B10 was in high-speed sync, with both being at full power. So the AD400 Pro will be slightly more capable in high-speed sync when balancing with bright conditions outdoors. And to me, those are the type of situations where the extra 2/3 of a stop, like it might sound like we're splitting hairs over, less than 1 stop of light, but in those situations where you're using a lightweight strobe outdoors, an extra 2/3 of a stop makes a huge difference. So that is where I think there's a big benefit. All right, so now let's take a look at the recycle speed. The Profoto B10 recycles a full power flash in just about 2 seconds, whereas the Godox AD400 Pro recycles full power in under 1 second. However, that's just at their full power setting. Again, this is where I say we need to look at things in terms of output. If we drop the AD400 Pro down 2/3 of a stop to match the peak output of the Profoto B10, then the Godox AD400 Pro actually recycles flash in 1/4 the time as the Profoto B10. But either way, it's faster always. Now let's talk about battery capacity, the amount of flashes that you can get on a single battery charge. The AD400 Pro is capable of 390 full power flashes and the Profoto B10 is capable of 400. Now in Fstopper's article comparing the AD400 Pro and the Profoto B10, they state that despite the Profoto's battery being smaller, it has a larger capacity. And that statement or comparison is just false. It's not right at all. I'm pretty sure Fstoppers just used the amp hours to determine that the Profoto battery had a larger capacity, but because these batteries have different voltages, you have to look at the watt hours to determine the capacity between these two batteries. The AD400 Pro is a 56 watt hour battery, whereas the Profoto B10 utilizes a 43 watt hour battery. That means the AD400 Pro has 30% more capacity than the Profoto B10. This could be used as an explanation as to why if you were to drop the Godox AD400 Pro down 2/3 of a stop to match the peak light output that you can get from the Profoto B10, then the AD400 Pro would flash roughly 550 times, whereas the Profoto B10 would only flash 400. This results in roughly 30% more flashes at the same light output, which pretty much makes sense with the battery size. So the AD400 Pro is significantly better in terms of the power capacity, and that explains why the battery is a little bit bigger. All right, on to flash durations, and quite possibly the nerdiest graph I've ever made. Flash durations is somewhere where I don't trust manufacturers at all, so we did get to test these using the Sekonic L858DU meter, the same meter that Fstoppers used. And I will say my results were very consistent with Fstoppers readings, but what Fstoppers didn't do is apply this to a light output was different because from their tests, their light output was the same. So I made this graph which first converted the f-stop into a linear figure, so think something more like lumens or lux that actually scales properly. And then I cross-referenced those light outputs with the flash durations, and once we take that into consideration, the T.1 flash durations of these two lights are pretty much identical. There's no significant advantage to either here. The Profoto B10 does have some really high flash durations, but that's also because it's less powerful and has a lower minimum power setting. So it's got some outliers on that side, whereas the Godox AD400 Pro has an outlier where the Profoto B10 just isn't capable of producing that much light. So the only advantage that I can really make out here is that if you were using a leaf shutter, you might actually want to choose the Profoto B10 because that maximum flash duration is going to line up with where your leaf shutter can actually sync to, whereas the Godox, because it has a T.1 flash duration in or near 1/200th of a second, you would actually lose some light on a leaf shutter if you were operating above that shutter speed. But for anyone using a DSLR or mirrorless camera, you're not going to really notice any action stopping difference between these two lights. Color consistency. If you don't know, both of these lights have a color stable mode and a fast flash duration mode. On Godox, they either have color mode off, which is where it has faster flash durations. Color mode on has more stable color. Profoto, by default, it's in its color stable mode. It's not called anything special, but if you want faster flash durations, then your color is going to suffer. So if color stability is really important to your work, Well, both of these lights have pretty little variance in color. Over my test, the Profoto B10 moved about 80 Kelvin in temperature, and the Godox AD400 Pro moved about 90. And even for highly critical work, I don't think you'd be able to make out that difference. Now, if you're using the fast flash durations on both of these, you can expect that color range to widen. Both of these lights do have a modeling lamp, however, I think they're both pretty much useless. But I'll still go over some details of them in case you think you could benefit from using them. The B10 does have a bicolor LED, meaning you can change its color anywhere from roughly 2800 all the way up over 6000. One thing I found silly is that when you're changing the color, it doesn't actually give you a temperature. It just kind of gives you this scale. So I assume you're left to just match color by eye. Would have really liked to see that display show you the color temperature. Now I did use my Sekonic C800 Spectromaster. This is a colorimeter. I use that to test the color quality of these lights. And in one sentence, the Godox is pretty much a garbage modeling lamp as compared to the Profoto B10. Had a far lower CRI, and its CRI was extremely weak in the reds, so if you're using it on skin tones, it's not going to do a great job at accurately reproducing those colors. The Profoto B10, however, had a very high CRI and great colors across the board, so if you are relying heavily on that modeling lamp, which I don't know why you would be, the Profoto B10 is at a significant advantage. The Profoto B10, as well as anything in the Air series, can be triggered using the Air remote or the new Profoto Connect. The Godox AD400 Pro is compatible with 4 going on 5 different triggers, although most people are probably using the Godox X Pro. Both are simple, fast, reliable, and can be used at great distances. The primary benefit in using the Profoto is that it has a very high contrast display that is very easy to read outdoors. The primary benefit of the Godox X Pro trigger, and all their triggers, is that it actually reports back the power, so you know at all times what power setting you're at. Profoto, you only know when you've hit a limit, either the max or minimum power setting, once the remote starts to beep at you. Godox could definitely stand to release a trigger that had a much better display. But Profoto could also stand to update their trigger to take advantage of things like the bicolor control, as well as have a report back of the power. Neither of these remotes are perfect, and neither of them are deal breakers. They're both pretty simple to use. The Profoto B10 is definitely prettier to look at, but with everything going radio control, I put almost zero weight in this, as the whole purpose of these devices is to not interact with the light itself. Now, when it comes to build quality, the Profoto B10 is a lot more dense than the AD400 Pro. Also, the front bulb is recessed, so if you were to drop it, it's less likely to damage or break a bulb. And the rear controls are also protected by the exterior bumper. Although if you break a bulb on the Godox AD400 Pro, it's extremely simple to just switch it out. Whereas on Profoto, you have to send it to them just to replace the bulb. Now, if you're buying a Godox product, make sure to buy from some type of reputable retailer. Don't just buy it from some random Amazon shop that you have no idea if they have a physical store or anything. Like, buy it from a reputable retailer, because if you encounter some type of issue, that's who you're gonna have to go through in order to get either a replacement, service, whatever that retailer does. Profoto has well-established global service, and while you may have to send it in and it may cost you some money, at least you know there's someone there to back your product. If you try to send an email or call Godox, the manufacturer of Godox lighting, they're not going to respond to your request for service. It's just not how their business is set up. All of the customer service aspect is supposed to take place through the retailer who distributes their lights. A final note is that the Profoto B10 is limited to the Profoto modifiers. No surprise there. The AD400 Pro is a little different. It has a proprietary Godox mount, but it comes included with a Bowens mount adapter that you can screw on. And if you're interested, you can also get adapters for Elechrome, Broncolor, and Profoto, so if you're coming from another lighting system, it makes it really easy to switch. And before we conclude, I want to make one final PSA. In the F-Stoppers article and video, they mention how you can drip charge both of these, so charge them while using them. You can't do that on the Godox AD400 Pro. I mean, you can do it, but you shouldn't do it on the Godox AD400 Pro, because that's what can lead to the battery being damaged and begin swelling. So don't do that. That's the whole reason that Godox has AC adapters for their lights, even though I don't know why it's not out for the AD400 Pro yet. If I'm ranting about the Godox AD400 Pro, I may as well say that Where the heck is the AC adapter? Where the heck is the remote extension head? Both of these were shown as optional accessories when the 8400 was announced forever ago, and still you can't buy them anywhere. Godox really needs to tighten up and make sure all their accessories are in line before they start releasing these lights, otherwise it's kind of false advertising. So in conclusion, I don't think that these two should have really been compared in the first place because they are so different in size. While their specs are quite close, I think the 8400 Pro is a clear winner in terms of power, and the Profoto B10 is a clear winner in terms of portability, which will just make them apply to different users. I'll definitely follow up with the comparison that I think is more applicable, which is the Godox AD200 versus the Profoto B10, even though the AD200 Pro is going to come out really soon. I will say this Profoto B10 does impress me far more than the Profoto B1X, and at this point, if anybody asked me, I would say that I think that the Profoto B1X is a bad purchase with the Profoto B10 on the market. I hope you guys got all the information you need out of this comparison. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos about the tech and technique of photography. And until next time, keep on shooting.